Hello, I'm Tony, and today we are taking a look at Behind the Frame, the finest scenery. A game free from Prime Gaming until the 20th of December 2023. This is another interactive puzzler, and it's much more focused on the story and the atmosphere than the gameplay itself. It's got a really lovely art style, which is fitting considering it's all about a couple of artists. We got anime characters on top of watercolour backgrounds, which is going to be familiar from a couple of the big animation studios. And it looks great. The game jumps between well animated cutscenes, which unfold the narrative, over to the interactive part of the game that takes place without the anime characters, and it's focused solely on the watercolour backgrounds. There is music, but only once you play the cassette tape. At least in the early stages, which takes me back to sitting at my brother's stereo system so I could tape songs that I wanted off of the radio. Random nostalgia tangent there. The game's music is really notable though. It's well made, smooth jazz tracks for the most part. There's a couple of other styles in there. But I really enjoyed and appreciated them, which is something that doesn't always happen in games because I often don't even notice the soundtracks. Fair play to the artists that made the music. Really good job. With the music and the art style combined, this is actually a really nice environment to explore, which you do by using the mouse to look around. As with most point-and-click adventure games, objects of interest will display a clickable icon. Most of those give you a description that gives you more questions about the narrative than answers, and are often fairly vague because of this. The rest will give you puzzles. Kind of puzzle, sort of. I think they're a little bit too straightforward to really be called puzzles. The majority revolve around paintings. And this is a little bit disappointing because where the game is about artists, there's obviously lots of paintings in the game. And they're lovely for the most part. But the actual art that you interact with is extremely simplistic. I understand why, because basically what you're going to be doing in a lot of these cases is filling in the right area with the right colour based on a reference photo that you have. Obviously that's not a puzzle. You don't have to be too careful either, by the way. Later on in the game, puzzles are filling in areas that aren't there with the right colour, and you can pretty much just stick a blob of the right colour in the general area and it will resolve itself into the right one, so not much challenge there. There is a puzzle chain in, I think, the 4th chapter that was quite interesting, but the majority of the puzzles here aren't going to satisfy any puzzle fans. There's also a few things that you do during the gameplay, like making breakfast or coffee, particularly at the start of the game, that I'm guessing were there to immerse you into the protagonist's life. Given that the puzzles aren't a draw for this game, the only thing left for me to talk about is the story. I have a hot take here. I didn't like it. It just wasn't for me. I don't want to spoil anything. I will just say it's a story about two people's relationships. That's all I can say about it, because for me the game only took an hour to play through, so it's obviously going to be extremely easy to spoil. I will add one more thing to it though. I felt the end was not even ambiguous, just sort of not that well explained. My reaction was like, what? What happened? I may have missed something here, but I'm just not sure that there was enough information there to actually figure out the full story. I have looked it up. Apparently there is a DLC which is not included in this giveaway that appears to fill in some blanks. In all fairness to the game, I'm very much in the minority here. It has a lot of rave reviews, overwhelmingly positive on Steam. So this is just my personal opinion. It didn't resonate with me, but it may well do for you. Something to note is that there are no in-game achievements, even though a lot of playthrough guides and discussions will talk about the in-game achievements. Those are only on Steam as far as I can tell. The game itself doesn't list any achievements, and Amazon doesn't appear to do achievements at all. So, overall, This game just wasn't for me at all. An hour is not exactly a large time commitment if you fancy giving it a try, because the story might work for you, it just didn't for me. The puzzles are not going to get in the way of most people's enjoyment. It's probably not going to sort of stop you progressing the story. I can't exactly recommend it, but it's such a lovely looking and sounding game that if the narrative hits for you, this will be an enjoyable experience. So if anything that you've seen appeals, give it a try. On that brief note, I'm off to hide from the dislikes I'm sure to get for not liking this game. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.